I'm good in the hood. All right. So a lot of people were not happy with Ironheart. Ironheart wasn't considered uh, a project that a lot of people was not impressed by. The story, when you talk about, and I'm trying to not spoil it, I'm trying to walk around the subject when you're talking about, well, what is Ironheart? What's the basis of the story? A lot of people were not happy with the story because, well, first and foremost, Ironheart is not a very popular Marvel character. All right. You will have to be a hardcore pause comic book, personality. All right. You have to be heavily involved in the Marvel universe to even recognize that Ironheart do exist. A lot of people out there think Ironheart was created because they just wanted a female character to promote on Marvel television. No, Ironheart has, it has been in the comic books and been in the Marvel universe. Ironheart really exists. It's a real character in the Marvel universe. First and foremost, it's not a very popular character. Okay. When you rank it among Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor, I'm trying to think of characters. Even the Black Widow, and even though a lot of people were not happy with the Black Widow movie, still that movie made somewhat an impact in the Marvel universe. It still generated money, still generated buzz. I think that's the last movie Scarlett Johansson is going to be in the Marvel universe. When you're talking about the Black Widow, they pretty much killed her character off in the Marvel universe. Although, she can creep up, they can recast the Black Widow or just keep it as is. But, Black Widow in the Avengers wasn't a really iconic character. She was like one of those characters, her and Hawkeye are two disposable characters that, when you put them in the Avengers, they're pretty much fillers in the movies or in the comic book. But no real hardcore Marvel fan is cheering for the Black Widow or cheering for Hawkeye. They just carry-ons. They just carry-ons to the store to a carry-ons to a story. By themselves, if you put them in two separate universes or two separate comic books or two separate TVs or two separate movies, they're not really that important. Even though I like the character who portrays Hawkeye, Jeremy Reynolds, and I like the actress Scarlett Johansson. I think really those two personalities are really what made Black Widow and Hawkeye. If anybody else were playing these two characters, I don't think these characters, are memorable in the Marvel universe. Okay. So I think that's the real reason why these characters kind of sort of exist and people kind of follow along what's going on with them. Okay. What's going on. All right. So that's that. And when you talk about Ironheart, she's a lesser character than Black Widow and Hawkeye. At least they had, Black Widow had her movie, even though it wasn't, it wasn't the movie like the other Marvel movies. Still, it generated some buzz. Still, it generated some revenue. And I feel like that's all because of the Scarlett Johansson effect. Why the Black Widow movie was semi-successful. When you talk about Hawkeye, when he stepped away from the Avengers, did his own television show, that's pretty good. Jeremy Reynolds, I think that's more of Jeremy Reynolds. portraying Hawkeye. I think, like I said earlier, if these two characters were, if someone else were portraying these two characters, I don't think these characters get the light that they're getting right now. Now, fast forward to Ironheart. I like the actress. I think she's cool. I first saw her in the first Black Panther as well as the second Black Panther. But I felt like she was like among, I think she was, but I didn't really follow the character. And what semi story she had in both of those Black Panther movies, it was really non-existent when you stack it towards all the other characters that you're looking at in the Black Panther saga. Chadwick Boseman, God rest his soul, in the first Black Panther, everyone was eyeing him. Okay. And Angela Bassett, the queen of Wakanda, everyone was eyeing her. Okay. As well as other cast of characters in the first Black Panther. In the second Black Panther, they introduced Marina, Angela Bassett. They introduced a lot of characters from the first movie into the second movie. She really didn't get no shine in either movie. We know she exists in this movie, but she really didn't get no shine because you got to remember there was a lot of big household names in both of those projects. So when she went out and when they, took that character and made Ironheart, a lot of people going like, who is this person? Oh, that's the girl that was the smart kid that knew how to do things. And in Wakanda, I sort of kind of, followed her to a certain extent. But that's pretty much all I know about her. Okay. And when Ironheart was Marvel Television, she really didn't break away from, like I said, the Black Panther projects. She wasn't she's not first of all, it's Ironheart, the character itself, is not a very important major character in the Marvel universe. All right. And then when you talk about the actress, even though I think she was phenomenal in Black Panther, she's also phenomenal. It is what it is. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You did what I'm saying? So I felt like with those two things going against you, Ironheart, the script had to be top notch. The quality had to be top notch. And the characters and the character development had to be top notch. And when you talk about the script, I wasn't excited about the storyline or the script. I just sort of followed along with it. When you talk about the characters, other than Ironheart herself, these characters, they, development-wise, you didn't really understand them. You just got a brief introduction to them in episode 1, like 2 or 3 seconds, and then that's it. And then they go off and the characters go off and go into this story. But I didn't care about the characters in Ironheart. The story, I followed along with it, but I wasn't, invested in the story. It is what it is with the story. Okay. Similar to Echo. I watched Echo recently. I watched 4 episodes of it. I don't even know how many episodes is it. And I just haven't gotten the will to watch the rest of it. I just thought that, that series itself, even though Kingpin was featured in it, and I don't know who else is featured in it as well, I wasn't really that impressed with Echo. With Ironheart, I feel like the only reason why I'm going to follow through with it, because it's more newer than Echo. And, even though the story is below average, the character development is non-existent. The characters themselves were not that important to the script. I'm gonna still watch the rest of it because I feel like I done invested 3 episodes in it. I haven't watched the other 3. I'm planning on watching the other 3, and then I'm gonna move on about my day. I'm not gonna have any afterthoughts of these characters. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not gonna have any afterthoughts. I really don't care beyond what's going on with these characters. But yeah, let me put my code in there real quick for all. Okay. And there we go. All right. So, but yeah, other than that, it was okay. And it was fine. I think Ironheart is to me, Ironheart was okay, but I understand why it gotten so much why everybody was so critical of it. I think there's some people out there that was critical of it, judged it fairly, didn't add any extra to it. But other than that, I, it was okay. It could have been better. Yes, it could have been better. What changes I would change on it? I would change. I felt like they should have gotten better writers for this show. I felt like also they should have had an established villain in the Marvel universe that, people, if you're not going to follow along her, at least you can follow along. If you're not going to follow along the hero, at least you will follow along the villain. Maybe if they had a semi top tier villain in the Ironheart universe that she had to deal with, it probably have been a little bit more interesting. But yeah, that's all I got for Ironheart. Guys, comment in the comment section, even if you're watching this live or if you're watching this on the rerun, the re-air, tell me what you think about Ironheart. Okay, I could be totally wrong about Ironheart, but that's the opinion. If I had to give Ironheart a grade, a lot of critics, a lot of content creators are giving it an F, a D. I would give them a C plus. At least they tried with a character that's really not major nor important in the Marvel universe. And I understand the direction they're doing with Marvel television. They don't want to integrate major Marvel characters in a television format. They want to put them on the big screen, and like semi characters such as Ironheart or Moon Knight, they're going to dedicate them to Marvel television. Okay, but yeah, that's all I got for that. Moving on. All right.